Forbes India Small Business Summit, presented by PhonePe Payment Gateway.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Forbes India Small Business Summit presented by PhonePe PG. I'm Mugdha Kalra. Today we are focusing on tech-driven payment solutions for SMEs, a transformative theme as digital payments continue to reshape the landscape for small and medium businesses across India. And leading this change in providing seamless and innovative solutions is PhonePe PG. And to explore how these innovations are empowering businesses, particularly in Tier 2 and beyond, I'm here to meet Ankit Gaur, Head of PhonePe Payment Gateway and Online Merchants. Hello, Ankit. Thank you for having me in your wonderful office.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
I'm always excited to come to companies that have so many people because it's always the energy that sort of speaks about the organization.
Absolutely.
And what a beautiful office.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we've grown tremendously over the past few years, and I think this is a testament to that.
Wonderful. First of all, you've been with the company for such a long time. You've been in the industry and noticing the changes. What, according to you, when we look at the payment gateways, when we look at this transformation, what have been your learnings about the trends and milestones? Was it an overwhelming change that you noticed in the last few years? I would say post-COVID, it sort of really changed.
You know, for a good portion of the last decade, payment gateways in India have been largely focused on the large merchants. It's maybe in the last few years, and you mentioned COVID, post-COVID, post the rapid increase in digital payments, that tens of thousands of these SMEs have suddenly started going online.
True.
And UPI has been an absolute game changer, right? It's allowed even the smallest of merchants now to accept payments. And what that does is created an entire ecosystem of small merchants who have now gone online. And payment gateways have now been forced to become less fragmented, less complex in what we offer. And a small businessman does not, I mean, they're constrained by the resources they have, right?
Yeah.
So they don't look at a payment problem separate from a customer growth problem. For them, it's one entire business problem. And I think payment gateways have started taking that onus of sort of tying together all the pieces of the puzzle and sort of provide a holistic solution. We've become, you know, from mere facilitators of transactions to now almost enablers of growth.
Game changers.
Absolutely, enablers of growth. And I would actually dare say that almost the backbone of digital economy today in the country, right?
That's true. And classically, we have seen SMEs and MSMEs going through a lot of changes when it comes to the challenges. You know, a lot of them are not able to scale up. A lot of them face financial challenges. You know, there is organized finance, there is unorganized finance, but those challenges will always remain. But when we specifically come to the solutions that you're offering, what were some of the biggest challenges that these guys were facing and that you're solving now?
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, I think even today, for an SME or MSME, almost every aspect of their business, right from the time that they decide to go online, set up their business and go online, almost every step today is a challenge. I'll start with the basic, right? Accessibility of information, right? If I'm an MSME, where do I get information? What are the good platforms? How do I go online? You know, you would assume that it's simple, but today it's still tough. When we go out and meet these merchants, when we onboard them, we realize that there's still a lot to be left in understanding that the access to tech resources, for example, especially if you look at Tier 2 or smaller towns, access to tech resources, people who can help them go online, set up their businesses, tools, these are still a challenge, right? On top of it, you add the cost of doing business, setting up a business in India, the processing transactions, the cost of that still adds to that, right? And there's a lot to be desired in the quality of support that they get, right? If I'm an MSME going online, the kind of support I would get for onboarding, for integration, post-go live support, I think there's a lot that still has to be done there. And if I were even somehow to navigate all of this and go online, just given my persona, the fact that I possibly don't have the latest technology at my beck and call, I'm more sort of open to being exploited by
Oh,
fraudsters,
absolutely. Yes.
right? Compared to a large organization that has a large team backing them. I think as an ecosystem, we have a lot to still do, and I think that's what we've taken out. And if you see our journey, we've focused on a lot of these problem statements because I think as an ecosystem, as an industry, there's so much more that we can do in just supporting them,
Yeah.
giving them a platform for information and access to resources. When we go and meet these merchants, right, they're so sharp when it comes to their business acumen. What they don't know is how do I leverage this entire online segment to grow? And I think that's what we're trying to do because there's so much business intelligence there, but what they are constrained by is their reach. And I think online is really the one we are able to sort of bring them. I think if we are able to help them understand what it means to go online, I think 80% of the battle is won because I think there's just that mindset of I don't understand this and therefore I don't want to get in. And I think that's where we are trying to break it down and break it into pieces and say, look, it's not as complex as you think.
Right.
It's very simple. You go, what does it take to go online? What do you need to do to start accepting payments? And I think those are some of the things that we are solving. One of the things we've learned is these guys need a lot of hand holding.
Yeah. Is there still a ratio of tech and a people connect?
Absolutely. And I think that's where we are making a difference. So for example, while we do have a system in which you can possibly, complete the entire process on your own,
Right.
we have a dedicated team that sits here that helps merchants go online. So if you don't understand what documents I need or, I don't understand how I need to integrate this, right? All of those can be done with the team that we're sitting here. They're always available to solve your problems. And I think that's a big, big learning. And I think that's what we're doing differently as the world is going towards, hey, this whole concept of self-serve. You come in, 3 clicks, you're ready. Sure. But understand a guy who's sitting in a tier 3 city, right? He's going online. He's like, I hope I'm doing the right thing. I hope the money that I'm collecting is coming to my bank account.
Correct.
Right? So those are the things that we're working on and saying, look, don't worry. These guys still need that human touch, right? They still need that face-to-face connect. So I think that's where we are working. We're saying, here's a dedicated team. They'll work with you. And the best part is this happens even before they start transacting, right? Okay. So there is no presumption of certain business coming. These are not large merchants. I don't expect to make a lot of money out of them eventually. But the fact is we need to enable. This is the segment which is going to grow India.
This
right?
promise of scale.
Absolutely.
Which they don't perhaps understand at the moment.
Absolutely.
Would you say, is that what Connect and Confluence is all about? The program that you're running? Or is that an offshoot of this? Tell me a little more about that.
One large part of it is to talk to them and assure them and give them a view of what it takes to be able to go online. I think that's one part of it. But the way we structured these, right, and I was talking about this earlier, that merchants don't, especially small merchants, don't look at their businesses in isolation. They don't sort of segregate a payment problem from a sort of a customer problem. This is a platform for them to just come together and network and for us to talk to them about how to grow their business and not just with payments. Right?
Interesting. All right. Okay. So it's like it's a holistic intervention that you're providing.
Absolutely. Right. So these are not a sales sessions, right? These are a networking event. So we call industry leaders.
Oh, fantastic.
We call leaders who have nothing to do with even a payments background or anything to do with digital, but telling them,
how business is done.
Exactly.
And what we have learned.
And it's so heartwarming when you go to these tier 2 towns and they say, this is the first time that we've had a payment gateway or any online platform come and talk to us. Right? So we've actually tried to focus a lot more about making it a holistic problem solving thing. We work with thousands of merchants, right? We work with lakhs of merchants on the offline side. So there's clearly a lot that we've picked up. And how can we translate that into information? Don't make the mistakes that someone else has made. Learn from what someone else who's successful is. And I think this is really that event, that platform that helps these merchants sort of look at that. I think that's one part of it. But a significant portion of what we do at Confluence and Connect is, and this is something very close to all of us, is listening to the merchants, right? I think there's a lot that these guys want to talk about. There are a lot of their pain points. There are a lot of things that we believe we've solved, but we haven't. I think someone just needs to hear them. So a large part of what we do is, the event itself is to listen to these merchants, tell me what's solved. Tell me if this isn't solved, can I solve this for you? What will help grow your business? And making that into something that translates into our roadmap.
Right.
For example, a lot of what we build, why we build, how we build is dependent on the voice of the merchants that we hear
The
on these.
feedback you get from them.
Absolutely,
Right.
right? Because in the end, we are building for these guys. If the people at my end who are building for them don't connect with them, don't hear them, then this is not really building for them. So I think that's something that we do. I'll give you an example. We were talking about, the fact that we have people dedicated. The world is moving towards everything going completely digital.
True.
3 clicks, you're ready. But when we went to these merchants, we heard them talk a lot about the fact that, hey, I know it's very simple, but I still get stuck here.
Yeah.
And that's when we said, you know what, we will have that entire digital journey, but we will still have people. We'll even have people who'll come possibly meet you.
People on ground who are helping
Absolutely.
them navigate
Absolutely.
through this.
So I think a large part of what Confluence and Connect does is basically this, right? Gives them a chance to talk to us, for us to hear what their problems are, and that influence what we build for them.
It's interesting you talk about networking, because that is one area that perhaps the tier ones have cracked.
Yep.
That peer-to-peer knowledge sharing helps in learning, unlearning, finding out solution for something that somebody else already has cracked, and I perhaps can learn from them. But that seems to be the major problem that we face with merchants and business owners, small business owners especially. They may have a fantastic idea, they may have a great product, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to how do I scale it?
Yeah.
How do I take my product out? How do I take my voice out? And so, how often do these events happen?
So they happen at a monthly level.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
we very specifically choose cities that possibly don't have these events often, right?
Got it.
We've largely stayed away from the 4-5
The big cities, of course.
We've gone to a Jaipur, we've gone to a Chandigarh, So these are the kind of cities we want to go to. And I think it's eye-opening. I think everyone should look at, these cities, the kind of depth of knowledge, the business acumen that exists in these cities, the kind of businesses we have seen, right? You would assume that in a tier 2, tier 3 city, you would not have femtech, edtech, but they are massive. And I think the best part we saw was just the diversity in the kind of businesses they're doing. Like, it's not the flavor of the season. No one's saying, hey, it's e-commerce, so we'll all do e-commerce. There was a time when it was edtech.
How
Everyone
interesting.
So it's not just edtech. I think we do an introduction at the beginning, and it is amazing to see, someone's doing edtech, someone's doing marketing, someone's doing femtech, someone's doing, something so specific, right? I think it's brilliant. So I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of this is just connecting with these, and we do try and make sure we do it largely in cities which are traditionally not accessed.
Tell me about some success stories, or what do you see on ground that must be so exhilarating to be able to empower somebody who had really never thought about doing business at that scale and has achieved that.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's so many such success stories that we've seen, not just on the merchant side, right? Even on the partner side, right? People who started out by saying, you know what, I know some people in my area who want to go online. I'll help them go online. Oh, by the way, here's a way I could make money. And today, on an average, they're making something like 500 to 1,000 merchants go live every month. A single store, 8 to 10 people shop, and sitting and making so many merchants go live every month, right? Similarly, we've seen success stories come out of Jaipur, Pune, where startups who've sort of gone out of their traditional mode. Someone selling jewelry, women entrepreneurs. I think phenomenal.
Oh, it's been a game changer.
Absolutely, right? So I think there's so many such success stories, and I think every time we hear about it, right, I think it just drives us more to be enablers of them and say that, we have to be something more than just a payment facilitator. We really have to be growth enablers for them. I think there's the responsibility that we carry because of the platform that we are, the reach that we have. We owe it to the industry, we owe it to the ecosystem to actually help these guys, right? And not just say, okay, I can help you with payment processing, but no, I have consumers. I have 400 million consumers. Is there a way we can help you grow because of that? So we talked to merchants and said, we have a customer base. You guys need growth. You have a fantastic product. And we realized that...
that matching also happens.
Absolutely, right? And I think that's the role we play. And for example, what we do is, let's say, you're an SME merchant, you've done the hard work of bringing the customer to your platform, customer has chosen a product, but there's a big friction point at the time of checkout. And you'll recall why you and I, or most of us, sort of generally shop in large marketplaces, because most of our contact details, our payments are already saved, right? You're not going to sit and
Right.
fill in your address every single time.
True.
Now, in an SME, you possibly shop with them once, maybe twice, and you need to enter all of that again. So we said, hey, here's an opportunity. What we'll do is, if the customer coming has their contact details saved with us,
It goes directly.
yes, we get the
I've
customer's
seen that.
consent.
I've
Yes,
seen that happen.
yes,
It's like autofill, or you just click and
absolutely.
everything comes as soon as you punch in your number. So
Okay. Yeah. So we take the customer's consent and we say, hey, here
Yeah.
is a seamless experience.
Because I know there are giants, of course,
Yeah.
and a lot of us shop on those giants platform.
Yeah.
But authentic Indian platforms can also come
Absolutely.
up if they have their last mile sorted, if they have their payment gateway sorted, if they have their reach sorted. It gives you that confidence as well.
Correct.
I think a lot of times you get confidence when you know who is handling the payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you get to that point where you have to do your transactions, and if
Yeah.
you see a familiar sort of an enabler,
Yeah.
as a client, I'm also sorted that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
If there are any challenges, there is a person in the middle who will sort it out for me.
Absolutely. And I think that's the part of our job we possibly take the most seriously,
Hmm.
because we do realize that a lot of customers, right, look at us as a trust factor when they're doing a transaction.
Correct.
Right? If you
Yeah.
go to a website and you see a PhonePe payment gateway
Yes.
there, right,
Yeah.
you do realize that there is a certain amount of trust that you've placed in the brand.
Yeah.
And I think we take that very, very seriously.
I almost judge somebody if I don't see the familiar gateway.
Yeah.
It feels a little scary that,
Yeah.
Arey, isme mera wala nahi hai, so it always feels
Yeah.
that. So I think that connect sort of makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we do very, very seriously. I think the safety, the security aspect, and the reliability aspect,
Yeah.
I think, are possibly two of the most important aspects that we actually focus on, because
That's one of the things I wanted to speak to you about. What were the challenges in online transactions when it came to reliability and security? Because we did see a lot of other tech platforms also come in
Yeah.
space. What were some of the learnings that these SMEs shared with you when it came to challenges related with security and reliability?
yeah. And I think it's important for me to reiterate, right?
Yeah.
For us, both these words, right? Security and reliability are not just buzzwords. These are almost the cornerstones or the core of what we do. And for me, I realize that when a merchant is doing a transaction or has given me the authority to process a transaction, if I fail at that point, it's not just that particular transaction that has failed. There is a possibly larger business impact for that
Yeah.
SME. In fact, in many cases, it's an erosion of trust.
Hmm.
Now, imagine I don't know you as a merchant. I've paid you. You've not got the money. You're saying, hey, I haven't got. I've said I've paid.
Yes.
Chances that you would attribute that to the payment gateway is less, but I would attribute it to you as a merchant,
Correct.
right? And I think that's why, for us, the reliability and the security aspect is so important. I look at security from a multi-pronged strategy, right? It starts right from the time that I onboard a merchant. There's so many checks that we do in terms of, what kind of merchant is it? What is the legitimacy of the business, the legality of the business? Because what I want to do is exactly like you said. If you go and see PhonePe at a merchant location, I want you to believe that there is a certain amount of trust, because
it's a vetted company as well.
Absolutely.
So
We've done our work.
So it's customer centric as well from that point of view, that
Completely.
you're sorting that problem for
Completely.
the
Because I want the ecosystem to know, customers, merchants, everyone, that if I am at a particular merchant's website, then there's a lot that has gone into ensuring that the website is genuine, right? So I think that's the first part. Then, of course, there is that entire robust encryption, because between a customer and a merchant, there's very sensitive data that's being exchanged. You're possibly putting in your card details, you're putting in your bank details. So there's a very strong encryption layer that lies between that. And that's where a lot of our tech comes into play, just the amazing technology that we have. And I do acknowledge that a lot of this is something that today regulators in India ask for. I mean, it's almost an entry criteria to being a payment gateway. But we go far beyond that. unarguably, I think we have the best trust and safety team in the country today. What we do is once the merchant is ours, I have responsibility towards the merchant as well, right? It's not just about the merchant being genuine, but now I want to make sure that I'm also able to safeguard the merchants as well, which means my trust and safety team actually spends a lot of time analyzing data, transactions, and lets merchants know if there's a possible fraudulent transaction.
Okay.
Right. So it basically tells the merchant that, hey, now that you're working with us and we have access to this technology, we will see as far as possible to make sure that you're safeguarded as well. So when there is this proactive approach, right, there's just the sense of trust, right? Trust from customers, trust from merchants as well, that, both of us are being safeguarded. So I think that's something that we take very seriously. And reliability is, of course, every time that a customer wants to make a transaction, I need to make sure I'm up.
Yeah.
Right. It's just consistency and uptime. And what we've done there is built a system by which, let's say if you're a merchant and a particular bank is down or the network is down or ecosystem is down, we proactively let you know. So then you can take those decisions about, hey, whether I want to switch.
There's a heads up.
Exactly, right? So I think we understand that in a payments ecosystem, right, trust is possibly the cornerstone of everything you do. So for us, our role is not just to be facilitators of payment, but our role is really to be a trusted partner, because I know what a merchant and a customer are trusting me with. And I think that's where we spend most of our effort.
A lot of times the small businesses feel this is too expensive for us to afford. How do we, even if we want to pivot to this tech, how do we do that? And that's where the 0% transaction comes in. What is that all about? And after that, did you see like a surge in partnerships? How has that helped SMEs?
Right. So actually, maybe I'll step back and tell you when we started this. Right. It's very interesting. Last year, there was a flux in the industry. Right. There was a period when most of the top payment gateways were restricted from onboarding merchants for various reasons. We were possibly among the very few who were onboarding. Right. So in a typical economic sense, there was a lot of demand and very limited supply. And I think normal rational logic would have said, great time to make money, let's increase prices. We just did the opposite. We said, this is the time at which MSMEs are struggling to find a good provider. The last thing you want to do.
Let's build a relationship.
Exactly.
Instead of.
Right. Let's give them the comfort that we are not here to sort of make hay while the sun shines, right? And it's at that peak point when we were among the only ones accepting payments that we actually went ahead and did a 0%. And we said, you know what? For a certain scale, don't worry about it. You want to try your business. You want to make sure, you want to see if this works. You're dipping your toes to try and see, hey, is this for me or not? Go ahead. Your supplier will not charge you for it. Your delivery guy will charge you for it. But there's one aspect that I can control. Try it out. And if it works, great. You're scaling up, go for it. And at that point, obviously, there are charges. So I think that was the sort of thought process behind it. We've continued doing it. And I think it just stems from the fact that we want merchants to not have cost as an entry barrier of trying out. Try it out. Look, in offline, I understand you have to set up a store. There are costs. Online, try. You never know. Don't worry about the payment part. For a certain period, for a certain setup and scale, you're not going to get charged. If it kicks off, great. You make money, I make money. Right? I think that's the way we look.
Ankit, tell me a little more about the PhonePe PG partnership program. We do hear about referrals there. We do hear about competitive commission rates. What's that all about?
So I think of all the programs that we've done till now, I think this is the most unique in the sense that everything that we've done about this program is done in conjunction with the partner.
Okay.
When we sat about designing a partner program, we said there are tons of partner programs out there. We just build one, replicate one and go out because the partners understand that. And in my mind, that is not a partner program, that's a distributor program because I've decided everything. I've decided how much commissions you're going to get. I've decided what I'm going to sell to you. And you just need to go out and sell it to your customers. So we said we're going to do this differently. This is not a distributor program, right? This is a partner program, which means you need to be able to tell me what will it.
Oh, you get to decide.
Exactly, right? So right from the commissions that they want, the kind of payouts that they want, what products they would like to take to their customers, what are their customers' pain points, and therefore, how can I help them sell better? Everything of this program, we went to these partners very early in a journey. And Confluence is that, right? Where very early in our partner program, we went and said, look, this is how your dashboard is going to look. Is that good? Is that what you want to see? Right? And everything about this program then sort
Customized,
of is
okay.
customized for them, right? Is you decide. And where the feedback comes from is, and I'll tell you how we've done things differently. In a partner program, typically, let's say you've referred a merchant and the merchant is doing transactions, you're earning, I'm earning obviously, but till you don't raise an invoice, you don't get paid. And we got the feedback that a lot of these partners feel that, I'm busy with my work, or I don't have enough resources to have an accountant sit and raise invoices. So I miss out. I don't realize till 4 months later that I haven't got paid. So we said we'll do things differently. You'll get paid irrespective, right? So even if you don't raise an invoice, I know the kind of transactions that your referrals have given me, I'll pay it out to you. Of course, I'll work with you then to get an invoice. But
that will not be a roadblock.
Exactly, right? We'll let you go ahead and get that. So I think that's the way we've gone about designing it. And of course, we told them that, look, a true partner program has to be a win-win-win, which means you win as a partner, your customers win, and of course, I win as an organization. So what we're doing is, for example, we support them with a marketing toolkit, right? We tell them, grow your business. I'm here to help you grow your business, and I'll get a part of that. I'm not trying to take away your share of whatever you're already doing. So we do these meetups for them, we do these summits for them. We are creating an ecosystem of a partner which says, I have thousands of merchants. Maybe some of them need your services. You might be a tech company, you might be a digital marketing company, while being a partner for me. Maybe some other merchant of mine needs digital payment, digital marketing. Can I help do that? So I think a lot of what we're doing is basically ensuring that there's an ecosystem and everyone's gaining from it, right? It's not about me just treating you like a sales channel and trying to get, but I'm saying, how can I add value to you? Because the moment I'm able to add value, you become an advocate for me. And I think that's really where we're trying to go.
I have numbers from the PhonePe Pulse and BCG report, which says merchant payments are expected to increase from 20% to 65% by 2026. The canvas is huge. What's your vision for the next few years to actually enable more merchants, be the customer's trust point, and also to grow the business?
The first would be accessibility.
Right.
I think at core, the biggest problem that I see MSMEs is the fact that they don't have access to information. They don't have access to the right tools. They don't have access to the right folks who can help them go online, to the best practices, to the mistakes that others have made, access to the best payment methods. So I think a lot of our endeavor, our vision is to make all of this, give platforms where they can get access to this information. They are really smart people in that segment, right? They just need the right information to be able to act on it. So for me, the first one would be accessibility. The second would be affordability, right? You've talked about how much the industry is going to grow, which means you'll have even the smallest of small merchants now wanting to go online,
right?
Which means not everyone can afford the kind of rates that are there today, the cost of setup of business, right? Our vision is to actually make it to let any merchant who wants to go online not have cost as an entry barrier, right? Go out, try, let cost not be an entry barrier, which means if we need to innovate on pricing, so be it. Try out new pricing models. So those are things that we want to do. We may even partner with other fintechs, make working capital accessible to them. So just make the entire cost of doing business affordable, right? So the second is affordability. The third would be innovation. This segment is phenomenally innovative.
Right.
The kind of innovation that stems out of this segment is, it has to be seen to be known, right? And if we need to partner with them, we need to innovate with them. We have to be in step with them. So if my new segment of merchants are going on social media to sell, I need to be able to support that. If they are going to new business models, I need to be able to support that. I need to be able to be in step with everything that they're doing, right? This could also mean things at my end. For example, can I use AI to give them better data?
Right.
A lot of SME merchants probably themselves don't have a sense of the larger picture of what things are doing. So can I use AI for data? Can I use AI for fraud detection? Right? So I need to constantly innovate. So for the next 2 to 3 years, right, a lot of focus will be on innovation.
Right.
And I think the final thing would be expansion.
Scaling it up.
Scaling it up. right, this segment is so ambitious, and the last thing I want to do is be a hindrance to their growth. It's not just on the reactive side, but proactively. Can I, in many ways, support them in growth? Is there something that my platform offers besides payment that can help them grow? Right? Because eventually, everything it comes down to is how can I help an MSME merchant grow? So I think the bottom line for me is I really want to look at I want this segment to look at me as their preferred partner.
Yeah.
But not just for payments, for growth.
For growth. I'm an MSME or an SME. I come to you. What are the top 5 features that I'm looking at in terms of growing my business?
You know, the advantage that we have is the fact we work with so many MSMEs, not just on the online side, but even on the offline side. And we've realized that every merchant has their own journey, right? There is no single fits all kind of solution. So what we've done is, the first thing that we've done is we've said, the base thing is you need to go online, and you need to go online quickly and easily. You have so many other things to worry about in your business. Going online should be the least of it. So the first thing we've done is we've done an almost instant onboarding.
Instant onboarding.
Right. So you come, you have everything, go online. The second thing that we've done is basically said, not everyone who comes in the online space has all the bells and whistles on first day. You may not have a full website with everything on.
Correct.
You might be an Instagram seller. You might be a WhatsApp seller. You might just have your catalog online. Someone WhatsApps you and says, hey, I like this t-shirt.
Right.
How do I collect money now, right? So what we've done is we have had a very easy way of sending them a payment link. Does not require any integration, does not require any sort of development work on that. Send a link, create a link, send it, and collect payments, right? So that's the second thing we've done. And as you scale, you might want to get into a full-fledged payment gateway integration, and we help you with that as well, right? So I think it's scalability from links to a full stack, right? The third thing that we have done is we've realized that as merchants scale, in the beginning, they want simplicity in everything they do, which includes simplicity in pricing, right? So when you start off, we've kept pricing very simple. We are the lowest. We've even supporting with 0%. But beyond that also, it's a single pricing, right? It's kept it very simple. But we realize that as SMEs are scaling, you might want innovation in pricing as well.
Right.
As you scale, your economics might change. So we have that. We reward those who do more, right? If your scale is larger, you end up paying lesser, right? So I think that's the third thing that we do. The fourth thing that we are able to do is everyone looks at the entire online segment as one, right? So give them as much information as possible, but talk to these SMEs. There are 3 or 4 things that they look at in their report, in their dashboard, right? One is, how much sales have I made today?
Right.
How much settlement has happened to me? And are there any refunds, if any? It's just this simple. So the dashboard view that is there.
Smarter dashboards, yeah.
And it's very simple, right? It's to the point. It's only about.
It's overwhelming, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no cognitive overload on them, right? Having to think about, oh, there are so many cuts.
Correct.
What do I do? Am I supposed to do something with this? Am I not looking at my business correctly, right? So we've kept that very, very simplistic. And the last point is we've also realized that a lot of these merchants, right, when they collect payments, a lot of customers are hesitant to pay even before they get the goods, right? A lot of us have seen that. We've seen a very smart t-shirt on Instagram. I don't know the seller. I don't know if he's going to deliver. I want to place an order, but I'll pay when the delivery happens. Now, from a merchant's perspective, there is cash handling, it's cash on delivery, there's a cost attached to it. So we said, what we'll do? We'll integrate with the delivery apps. So when the delivery happens, don't pay cash. Make a digital payment at that point, right? Scan the QR or use your credit card to make a payment. And today, that's possibly one of our most highest selling products, because a lot of these MSME merchants realize that people want to pay at delivery, but they don't want to handle the cash of it. So I think that's the broad gamut of what we are offering the SME segment.
Wonderful. I think this is a game-changing time for not just MSMEs, but also you as a company, as an enabler, and some of the things that you have shared with us today are pivoting on the fact that in the years to come till 2026, more and more merchants are going to adapt to online payment systems, and how does life become easier for them when they don't have to get into the nitty-gritties of handling that, and you have a trusted partner. I think it all boils down to collaboration and partnership, as you have mentioned. Thank you so much, Ankit, for spending time with us, giving us all the insights. It was so wonderful to have this chat.
Wonderful talking to you as well. Thank you.
And I hope all of you watching this episode found all the information and insights useful. Thank you for watching.
Forbes India Small Business Summit, presented by PhonePe Payment Gateway.